Hi everyone. Welcome back to What Are You Watching? I am Ben, your host, and with me tonight we have two guests, Video True and Nerd Chronic. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Uh-huh.
We're excited. We're gonna go see Wakanda Forever later tonight, so that's gonna be
Yes.
exciting.
Big night.
Big night for us. We just saw Smile yesterday. That was fun.
How was that?
It was a sonic assault.
It was truthfully not as bad as I thought. That's my accurate review. I actually thought the movie was going to be pretty dull or bland, and I ended up enjoying it, pretty well.
I wish that people hadn't told me it was good because I also thought it was going to be bad, and I think I would have liked it more had I just seen it and been like, "Oh, that was not bad."
Yeah.
But instead, like a lot of people were like, "No, it's better than not bad. It's like really good."
Yeah.
And so I was expecting something pretty great, and it was like just better than the not bad that it probably should have gotten to begin with.
Yes.
It's a creepy idea. That little smile is pretty creepy.
Yeah, it's a very creepy pasta idea. It's like specifically a very like Reddit sub forum.
Yeah, it's also kind of like the there's one called the Smiling Man, right? The one that's
it's literally called the Smiling Man.
The one walking down the street towards you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like he's making a weird little jig.
Yeah. Sorry if you hear our dogs going nuts in the background.
Yeah.
So, what this show is, I've been on a guest and they didn't tell me something they've been watching. So, what have you guys been watching?
So I think the thing that we decided we were going to talk about, that we could talk about at length right now, is Andor.
Yeah.
And Andor is obviously the thing that I think everyone's been watching.
Yeah.
Lots of podcasts weekly about it, but like something that we're still in the height of because it's still going. Wings of Power just ended, House of Dragons ended. That's kind of two of the three big shows we had going on in the zeitgeist right now. But Andor is the one that everyone's still talking about. We're enjoying it very much thus far. The other night's episode, the one that just aired yesterday, was fantastic. It was, I think, probably the best one so far of the whole season.
Yeah. I liked Andor before. I really did like it before this prison arc started. But this prison arc started about 2 episodes. This is the 3rd episode we just came up on. And after the credits rolled on the first one, I was like, that was so good. Why did I like that episode of like a Star Wars show so much as I like the other Star Wars shows? And boom, the name comes on the screen of who wrote the episode. And it's Beau Willimon, who created House of Cards.
Okay.
But he's also like a really good friend of mine who like used to be my neighbor in New York. And like we were like there's all these photos of us. We were like best friends for like the period of 2 or 3 years. And I was like, oh, that's probably why this like show has again resonating with me. But I don't think it's just why. It's not like, oh, my name's in there somewhere. It's like literally that just the themes of it resonate. It feels like the first time it feels like an adult Star Wars. Like I feel like this is like there's nothing about it that's like for kids. Kids would not be interested in this program. I think specifically.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like Star Wars can always be enjoyed by adults and kids. But like this is the one where like I'm having a hard time.
Imagine kids.
I'm imagining a kid like watching this and having a good time.
There's no lightsabers. There's no there's not even like evil Palpatine. There's just Senate hearings. Yeah, it's like if you like that opening crawl of Star Wars, like the prequels, if you like that new crawl, then like get ready for it with Andor.
Cool political corruption.
But it does make it cool. It does make it cool political corruption, like the taxation of the the Outer Rim. Like I would suddenly watch a whole show about that if they did it with this people. Tony Gilroy is killing it. This whole show is so dope. And I'm saying that having like only seen half of like Rogue One once a long time ago.
Oh wow.
I don't even know who this guy is. He's just like a dude.
What did you guys think about Andy Serkis in these last 3 episodes?
I mean, in Serkis,
he's gonna get an Emmy.
I mean, he should get an Emmy, honestly, because I mean, everyone's been saying it for a long time that he's such a phenomenal actor, like of his own, outside, being King Kong and Caesar and Gollum and stuff like that.
He's King Kong?
Yeah, he's in the Peter Jackson King Kong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No one ever talks about his pivotal role in 13 Going on 30. It's like the magazine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But no, he killed it. Like, I mean, he brought it to like even such a new level for himself, just, being like the kind of leader again, like, kind of like
he was
very
just Caesar.
Caesar-esque.
He was just Caesar.
He's just Caesar again, but
Human
in
Caesar.
human form. But yeah, I mean, you were the one that's kind of going on and on like right away about how amazing he was when we were watching it.
It was his performance. It's because his eyes, and it's what you realize is like it's probably always been. It's why it's not just his physicality, which is of course really good, but it's like why he does so good in mocap. It's like we've always known, or we've known for a while now that like he's got a gift that makes it like a real hindrance for him to get an award because he's so good at doing the mocap when most people are so bad at it that like he's kind of like destined to just be like stuck in this place where no one's ever going to recognize it as talent because he's always got he seems like CGI, but like his eyes have always shown through. Like, and you see it in Caesar and you see it in Gollum. Like his eyes are just like, you know, he's able to express a lot. And I think this is the first time there's been a program or anything where you can watch Andy Serkis in his like real face express with his real eyes and say a bunch of things that like the character is not literally saying. Like, what's his name? What's the character name? It's
Kino.
Yeah. Kino. It sounds like one of the Planet of the Apes things. But there's a part of that first one, or no, I think it was last week's episode where he's got his hands on the back of his head and he's like everybody, like we don't know any of the rumors are true. Like they're talking about like the other floor getting like zapped, and he's like, look, we just don't know anything. We're just gonna go back to work. And you can just see his eyes, this like panic and like this fear is just spreading through him, but he's like not letting it affect his voice at all.
Yeah.
And he's like expressing so much. And like that couldn't have been in the script. Like that's just something he brought to the role, is like what the eyes are doing. And I don't know, like that was like the most amazing performance I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's incredible. I think this will probably be. He's never been nominated. He's been nominated for a Golden Globe and Emmy for two British miniseries that he's done, but he's never been nominated for an Oscar, and he's never been nominated for a Golden Globe for a movie.
Yeah.
So like it's gonna be really funny, I think, when he like sweeps for like best like cameo actor, whatever they call it, best. It's not
Golden Globes.
Yeah. For it's not best supporting actor. It's like best
Like
something
appearance by like a like a single thing.
Yeah, it's like best like guest star appearance.
Yeah.
I think probably what's his name will probably take it after that speech last week.
Oh, Stellan Skarsgård.
I think Stellan Skarsgård is probably gonna get best supporting, and I think Serkis probably will get best guest appearance.
Yeah.
That monologue at the end was out of control, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, give it up for the costume designer of Andor.
Yeah.
Like, I love that costume designer who, first of all, dressed everyone in THX or like whatever. Like, they did the one nod towards like the Lucas stuff.
THX 138.
Yeah, THX 1, whatever. Like that. It looked really good. And then like, yeah, what he was wearing when he's like, his different character outfits through the show have like shown this evolution of Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Man, only in this family can you get like something like Barbarian having one Skarsgård and then you just swap over to Andor having another Skarsgård.
Yeah, you're right.
Whole family's super talented.
Yeah, the Northmen with the other Skarsgård.
The Northmen
yeah.
with the other Skarsgård, the whole
range
family.
and the family.
And one of them, I believe, is in John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh,
Really? It's gonna be good
Yeah.
for a new one.
I'm not sure if it's Bill.
Dude, Stellan Skarsgård had a kid 2 years ago. Like his kid had a kid, and he also had a kid that same year.
It's like
He's just gonna keep turning them out.
Him and Nick Cannon are competing for
Yeah.
the most kid right now.
But I mean, Stellan Skarsgård's a great actor too. But I don't know. Like I like Good Will Hunting. I like him in Girls Attracted. All those roles that he's ever been in. But like the menace that he brought to a character that I believe we've coded as good before, right? Like he's always been kind of a good guy. I don't remember Rogue One, but he's a good guy.
He's not in Rogue One.
Oh no, he's not in Rogue One.
So yeah, so he's an entirely new character for the show.
Oh, I thought he was like a big character in Rogue One.
No, we don't know. Like he could be dead for all we know by the time Rogue One comes around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then never mind. So he's maybe not even a good guy.
No, well, the thing is, like, he's morally gray, and I think that's the point, right? Is like he's supposed to be a character who, like, as in his monologue, he says, like, he's made his mind a sunless place. That's what he says, and just that he has reconciled with the fact that the stuff he does is for the greater good at his own cost, at the cost of like what any kind of life he could live that is like peaceful and loving, just because he knows it's like what he has to do.
Yeah,
and it's great. It's a great button for that character. We have 2 more episodes left, and
2 more episodes only.
Yeah, for this season. Then we have another season next year.
Yeah, but only 2 more episodes. I thought you said this is a long season.
Well, it is compared to the other ones. Though. You know, the other shows were like 6 episodes a season. Like this
Oh
is
my
we're going to
God.
have 12 episodes this season.
Oh, I thought you said there was gonna be more episodes. Okay, well now I'm bummed. I'm
uh,
finding out Stellan Skarsgård isn't in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Like I'm finding out a bunch of
but
things.
you know, so we'll see where its character ends up. You know, within 2 episodes. If that was the last time we see him, that could have been great. That would I'd be satisfied. You know, until we see him.
That'd be
next
weird.
Season. Next
That'd be
season.
okay.
For now, I mean.
Mon Mothma shows up and she's like, where's my dude?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Loved it.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to make it out on the season. To be honest with you, not after last night.
I think he'll probably make it out. I don't think he's gonna be I think it's setting up him as like an antagonist. Like just having watched a lot of TV in my life, it's setting him up to be sort of not the big bad, but sort of like the big bad for the greater good, which is sort of like a necessary like bulwark you need for shows like this, which is like not quite an antagonist, but a friction to keep pushing the characters
Like
to
an
evolve. What did you call it?
Anti-hero.
They said Integra hero, and I was
Integra
like, that's kind of what
Coin
he is.
for me. Is it?
Yeah, he's like the guy from My Hero Academia, like the fire guy.
Oh, Endeavor. Yeah.
Yeah, or like the guy who blasts stuff.
Blast up.
His angry friend.
Bakugo,
Yeah, he's like that guy. Like he's not a bad guy. He's just
anime fans.
yeah, for anime fans, he's like not a bad guy. He's
Taylor.
working on the right side, but he's just kind of like not a nice guy. What do you say?
So Taylor asked, what do we think of the Studio Ghibli announcement that they had today, or the tease, I guess. Is it for Visions or something else? Visions being the animated anime Star Wars thing they did last year.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Uh,
I mean, that makes sense. It feels like Studio Ghibli is maybe a little like too big to do like just like one episode of Visions. Like I feel like they probably would have the the dibs to do a whole movie or special or something.
They do have a relationship with Disney though, so it makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, like again, like I'm so into this thing that we have now, which is kind of like a Star Wars that feels like it's for like adult. And I'm not like so into adult stuff. That's not like usually my thing. I'm not like a West Wing person. Like I didn't watch all the seasons House of Cards. Like, but like for some reason this show feels like so appropriate for our times. Like I kind of don't want to like think about like back to the lightsabers and like the Ewoks and like the Porgs and stuff. I want to like stay on like the pretty gritty stuff that's going on here.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I think at this point, like luckily, I think they're finally starting to like stretch out and say like you could have both. I mean, it's kind
we can have both.
It's weird to in your mind to reconcile like the fact that Jar Jar Binks is walking around somewhere during this time of Andor. As far as we know, like it's still like he was alive at the end of episode 3. Like we don't know where.
I mean, it seems like I think I know what happened to him. I think they're doing a genocide. I think they're doing. Oh no,
Ben's gone. But anyways,
that's what happened.
I'll go on. But my point, you guys can watch me. Is that about with Visions though? The thing is, well, with Visions 2, if it is Visions, like Visions was also always non-canon, so they can do whatever they want.
Wait,
like,
what do you mean it's non-canon?
like the anime stuff, those were like just kind of like it's theoretical. Like, what if like this thing happened in Star Wars?
Is
like,
what if not canon?
No. Is it?
I don't know. I mean, you know what? Let's table that for another discussion. But yeah, I understand.
My point being that there's plenty of room in Star Wars now to try out new ideas and like they don't have to clash with one another.
I think that's exactly right, and I think it's something. Look, Disney's doing well. Also, I'm not to do another MCU comparison, but it is. It's kind of like the thing where it's like we can do horror, and like so, like that's always the thing, right? Like, why haven't we ever had a horror Star Wars? Like we can now. I feel like because I think this finally opens the door where it's like not everything needs to like tie back to. And I love The Mandalorian, but not everything has to tie back to like a cute thing or like a little alien, like, or some thing where you have to have watched The Bad Batch to like truly get everything that's going on. Like everything has to tie in. You can just be watching this show and this can be the first thing you've ever seen in Star Wars and be like, this is a great program. Yeah,
you get the core fundamentals of like what Star Wars is, rebellion, stuff like that. And I just
different things. Yeah.
The thing that's interesting to me though is I kind of feel like this show, just the way it's being produced and the kind of like what it's achieved, actually isn't possible like in the MCU, like as it is right now, because the MCU like has like so much like forward momentum of what it does that like every installation that we have has to be like the next step in like the ever-growing canon of like where they're going. Whereas like this, like it's such a good story that exists in a pocket of like in an era that we know where it starts and ends. Yeah. Like the MCU like can't really do that, and maybe for like another like decade we can't have a story that goes back to like Civil War era. It's just like about like Cap, like doing like something for.
We can have like
12
an Agent
episodes.
Carter. We can have like an Agent Carter kind of show today. You don't think, or like something that takes place in the past, or a parallel, like the Thunderbolt things.
I don't think anything that like is like has enough that they have enough confidence in to like let it be its own thing. Like I think.
I mean, She-Hulk.
Yeah. Even then, She-Hulk still had Abomination is still like existed with
Yeah,
Shang-Chi
but like none of it,
simultaneously, stuff like that.
nothing in She-Hulk is going to like matter in the world of the MCU, or like nothing of that's going to tie into anything.
Yeah.
And whatever, we're getting off topic.
Even we get like my son Blorko here's here, like that thing.
Yeah, and look, this show has at one point they might in passing be like, oh, like hey, have you heard this kid Skywalker or something? But it's not like
He would be like 10 years old.
Well, you know what? There was a show called Obi-Wan, in which the kid was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
But like comparing it to something like Obi-Wan, which is so tied to, it has to be part of this larger canon. This finally feels like the show where they say like, we can have Star Wars without it being related to the Skywalker saga. And this might be like this and Mandalorian are like the two that really let you feel that. I feel like.
Yeah. In addition to this, the fact that there's a lot more characters that we're establishing now that we don't know where they end up, and so that makes things a little more interesting as opposed to Obi-Wan. Even though I like that show a lot, like half the main cast were characters that we know don't die, so it's like how much stakes can we have with that?
Oh, I think I know where they end up. I think they all die. I'm pretty sure everyone that we've seen on screen besides Mon Mothma like dies pretty horribly, probably. Well, let's just play this out. When he shows up in Rogue One, none of his like buddies are there. like nobody who wears Sting.
Actually, I think one person is in Rogue One.
Yeah, Mel Sheed, the one that he broke out with. The one that thing together at the end of the last episode.
Wait, that guy's like in Rogue One.
He's in Rogue One, yeah.
Okay.
He's the only one.
In prison?
Yeah.
So we knew that there was a character. We were like, oh, hey, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was like an origin story. I didn't know that.
Kind of.
Hey. Hey.
I would love like a previous 1 hour special on Disney Plus. That would be cool. No, previous. He's kind of like Palpatine's master. You know who Palpatine is?
Yeah. What was his master's name?
Oh, Plagueis. Plagueis.
Yeah. Is that who we're talking about?
Well, that's the thing. It's like because so going back to your point about the spectrum of like what Star Wars is now, the next show that they have ramping up after this is Acolyte, which takes place 100 years before Phantom Menace. So it'll be the furthest back we've gone in the canon visually in the like visual media.
Oh, cool. So are they gonna have like older lightsabers? Like, is it gonna be like House of Dragons, like where like their shit's kind of like analog or something?
It's gonna be the same thing, like just like much like in lots of fancy stuff, like technology. This is kind of the same thing for like several tens of thousands of years.
Oh, wait. So I want to talk more about that, but I want to talk about the technology in this Star Wars. This show has finally answered so many Star Wars technology questions. Do they have internet? Do they have TV?
News.
They have news. They have news.
Yeah.
Do people live in skyrise apartments? Do people have Jewish mothers for some reason? They don't have Judaism, I'm sure, in Star Wars, but they do have Cyril's mom, who is like the most quintessential Jewish mother that's ever been on television, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Like I love everything that's going on. Cyril might be my favorite character who do ever exist in the Star Wars universe. He's great. Just A+ on his whole arc.
He is a bizarre underdog that they are like developing very well.
What a Javert.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you think you know where this guy's going. Like he starts off and you're like, oh, this is the big bad, and then he just gets totally like he just gets turned into a eunuch basically. Like he gets totally cocked, and then he's just stuck without a job for most of the show.
Now he's just a weird stalker.
Now he's just a weird stalker stalking the person who kind of has his who's kind of playing the role that he wanted to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's great. Deidre, great. Everyone's on your side because she's moving up the ranks of the patriarchy in the empire, in the Galactic Empire, and you're kind of like, yeah, screw over your coworker, Deidre. Like, rat him out, and then you're like, oh shit.
You're like, oh no, torture.
Oh no, torture. Oh no. Oh no, she's awful. Never mind. But I do appreciate seeing some of the, we focus a lot in Star Wars on like the whimsical stuff and the magic stuff and like the space stuff. It's nice to just watch people like rank and file people do their boring ass job and like have their petty little spats and like live their tiny little lives. It feels very real.
Space TPS reports like stat.
Yeah, it's less tea spilling in the Imperial Guard or whatever. The Imperial, what is their little name? The
ISB.
The ISB. I don't even know what that stands for. None of these people matter, but like it's really fun to watch them sort of like just peck at each other.
I'm just wondering where all this is going to end this season. Like, are we going to get Alan Tudyk's character
I
from
think-
World One?
Yeah, cool. Because I know we have the second season already lined up, and I know that will jump ahead to lead up kind of directly to the events of Rogue One, like just
Yeah.
before we kind of get in there.
Wait, tell me what Rogue One's about again.
Rogue One. At that point, Cassian is already like a true believer of the rebellion, so he's like in it, like he's ready to like kill, like die for it.
But he's ready to do that already. and
No,
he
and at
doesn't-
this point, no. He's like very much just like I'm just doing it for myself. Like I did the heist to get paid. Like I'm out of here. Like they want to come with me. Like he tried to get Marva, stopped his mother to leave with him, just to go and kind of like live on their own. Like he's not really in the rebellion yet, like for like the cause. Like he's just like I did it because I want to get paid, and someone like hit me up about it. But I think we're probably by the end of the season we'll get like a climax of
Fiona Shaw dying.
Fiona Shaw dying. I think his mother Marva will dying somehow, and that will kind of be like a catalyst to get him to. It might be just revenge at first, because like as Skeen said, revenge is good enough.
I don't think it's. I think that's also Fiona Shaw, but I don't think there's any coming back for that friend of his who got the torture. I think she's like catatonic.
Oh, she's.
I think we heard a little bit about that, like when.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they hung the other guy they tortured. So.
I was like, wait, the other guy?
Like her business friend that she used a radio for.
Oh,
that they were
shit.
torturing for her, like
I did not know that he died. Did they hung him?
Oh yeah, the guy that was torturing. He's like, I like to hang him. She's like, sure, whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't think that she's coming back from that. Like, I think he's gonna come back home and find like maybe Fiona Shaw dies a little bit later, but I think that she's done. I feel like, and that's a horrible enough reason to want to go in it.
My theory though is like I do think that Cyril will come back in some bigger fashion as like to get Cassian on like a personal level, which might be killing Marva or something else, because I think like the whole thing like that is through line of what they've been doing for like the heist and for Cyril and for even like the prison break, that Cassian always has the opportunity to kill people to kind of like give him a clean escape, and he doesn't. He let Cyril live in the first episode.
Yeah.
He let the people at the heist live without killing them. He let the guards live that they took hostage in the prison break.
Sure.
And each one has come back to bite him. And so I think that he's going to learn. That's why in Rogue One we see that he's ready to kill someone who's an informant of his, that just so he won't get caught, because he has learned like don't leave any traces, don't leave any trails.
I feel like
come back to get you.
That might be true, but like if that was the case, we would have to see that he'd be like unwilling to kill, and then there's like this point they breaks. We see from the very first episode that he's willing and more than able to kill, like with no hesitation at a moment's notice. Like that is like the very first scene with this guy. He just kills, and whoops, like people are dead, and he doesn't really feel anything about it, and he just moves on.
It's half and half though, because like when he had Cyril,
he doesn't kill everybody.
At some point, like Skarsgård told him like kill him.
Yeah.
Like just kill him and we'll get out of here. He tied him up instead and let him live.
Yeah, but he killed the guy from the heist just because he was like, let's get out of here and like leave them here. Not even like let's kill those other people, just like let's leave them and take the money.
Because he probably felt like he was a threat. Like I think he knew if he didn't kill Skeen, like Skeen would have killed him.
I don't think so, because Skeen like really wanted to land that plane to save the other kid.
But I think as soon as he told him like, hey, like let's take the money and leave, if Cassie said like no, like let's not do that, he probably would have killed him. He probably was like, I can't let you just like stop me or like get in my way. You definitely would have tried to kill him the same way.
Didn't see a lot of murder in that guy, but fair enough. Let's say that's true. I think Cyril's going in a different direction. I think Cyril is a friend of my enemy, or like an enemy of my enemy is my friend. Like that, again, just watching a lot of TV in my life, his kind of character arc is that he's going to be butting up against Dedra and doing so like kind of reverse course and end up helping Cassian, like end up like almost not on the same side as him, but like being like helping him escape, or basically being a Domhnall Gleeson, like at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, like he's gonna end up like being a little weasel, like a little shit, because him and Dedra otherwise fit the two close to the same trajectory, and like having him fall from grace and having him like stalk her and having her reject him, I feel like it's gonna be enough to like turn him probably to go try to find Cassian, and then when he finds him, be like, I did it. I'm better than the Empire. Like he's like off doing his own Agent Smith thing.
Yeah, my guess is he'll kill Marva.
My guess is that he's also the nephew of the guy that's Dedra's boss.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
or something. Like that.
Yeah,
like
we know his first name, and they
Yeah.
keep talking about this Good's uncle being so popular.
Uncle Harlow.
Uncle Harlow. We have to find out who Harlow is.
Yeah.
Would be crazy if it was Stellan Skarsgård.
When is Cyril joining the rebellion after all of that?
Sorry, who?
Cyril, the guy.
Yeah.
The guy who's in love with Nitra, the stalker.
Yeah. What about him?
What if he joins the rebellion?
I don't think he'll join the rebellion, but I think what he's going to be is like, I think he's going to be like a lone agent. Like, I think it's like an Agent Smith thing. Like, he's too much of a Javert. Like, he's too much of like I believe in like a righteous cause, but I don't think I think he sees now that his righteous cause doesn't reflect that of the Empire. Like, the Empire is full of like people, like he's just seen
too much red tape.
There's too much red tape, and he's seen time and time. He's almost like more like a bounty hunter. Like, he's seen time and time again that these people, like his superiors, his coworkers, would rather just slack off, pretend to do their job, like just take the easy route, or like henpeck at each other and undermine each other. Where he's like, no, don't you believe in like the truth and the justice of what we're doing? And it turns out like they don't, because like the Empire isn't really about, like, they keep talking about order as like a grand scheme of things, but they just mean like genocide, and it's filled up with a bunch of middle management. And like he's like, he'd make a good Sith. Like, he'd make a good, like, you know, Jedi turned Sith, but he's not going to make a very good, like, member of the Imperial anything at this point.
Yeah. Even like we've seen, like, you know, he falls in line with, I guess, what the Empire does, which is like, you know, handling things with like iron fist. But like his motivation isn't exactly the same. Like, you know, like the General Cadagast, with the older guy that's in charge of everyone.
Yeah.
Like, his whole thing is very much like by the numbers, like do everything, you know, by the book, get the stats, get like, you know, the hard evidence, and do it that way. Whereas Cyril's like very much like go on your gut and like just, you know, go for the justice of like what needs to be done.
And Deidre's like that too. Deidre's very much like she is going to cut through the red tape in her own way, and like she's like not making a lot of friends the way that she's doing things. She and Cyril are very much the same character, which is why I don't think you can have both of them around for very long fulfilling the same function. It's a really good twist that he's like in love with her and she's like, get away from me, creep. Like, I like that. I really just thought when I first saw those two characters, I was like, well, they're gonna fall in love. Like, that's obviously like that's a power couple in hell. But no, like, it's really good dynamic that he's like beneath her. Like, she doesn't even see him, and he's like, but I love you, and like, we're perfect. And she's like, get away from me, creep. It's very much like how House of Cards didn't really have like a love story per se. It was just more like a series of like beneficial arrangements and like obsessions, and like they were like a lot of toxic dynamics, but it really worked out well. Like, you really bought it, because like life isn't always about like the friendship kiss or whatever, Kylo and
the Reylo.
Yeah, the Reylo kiss. Speaking of, guys, hey, Star Wars, what does it say?
Ray Star Wars.
Ray Star Wars from the movie Star Wars. Yeah. That's my favorite shirt of all time.
I like that. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Saw Jenny Nicholson wear it. You can, on the Disney store, whatever, you can go write in your own slogan for a Star Wars shirt and like pick from a couple things. She had a shirt that said Ray Star Wars from the movie Star Wars. Perfect shirt. A+, no notes. But yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because, not to brag, but like on Monday night, whenever the election was, I was actually texting with Bo, and I was like, I think I know where this story is ending up. Like, I told you from the beginning exactly how many episodes there were going to be of that prison episode. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there's going to be 3. It's going to go here, here, and here. It's like going to be like Andy Serkis doesn't make it out. It's going to be like this happens and this happens. And I feel like I was right on every single account about where the show was headed. Yep. Because I'm really good at television. But I was talking to Bo about it, and he said, I don't think you'll be able to guess where this series finale is going to leave you. Mm-hmm. So
interesting. Does that mean he wrote it?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering. I was like, I would assume he only came in for those 3 episodes, like the arc that just concluded. But it would make more sense that he's involved with the whole season. He probably wrote a lot of it because the politics of something like this doesn't really resolve itself. Oh, yeah. The politics of something like this, something like Bo did, is like he was a showrunner. He did a whole program. It lasted several seasons. You don't do it like a self-contained politics run like this. The politics of the show have to keep going, and it's not like another writer, I feel like can come in and take over. Yeah, because the episodes before this were not as deeply involved in the rank and file, and I feel like we now have a real sense of it. I don't think they can go back. So I think he probably did write a lot of the rest of the season.
Where do you think the season is going to wrap up? Any guesses?
I don't think Stellan Skarsgård is going to turn out to be a particularly good guy.
Yeah, I guess it has to just end on some sort of like upbeat, right? Where like we can then in the next season, like not up like positive, but just like in a, like, you know, like I don't know, almost like a pseudo cliffhanger where we can like jump ahead 5 years, 4 years naturally, like after this season.
I think Fiona Shaw dies. I think what's his girl? He had like, what's her name?
Bix.
I think Bix is probably gone, like whether she's dead or just. I think they had like a brief moment in the last episode where they mentioned they're like she's not taking her medicine, like she's come back, but she's not healthy.
Yeah. Oh, they were talking about Marva, I believe. Fiona Shaw.
Oh, they're talking about Fiona Shaw. Yeah. Okay. Well, she's gone.
Yeah.
Did they say Marva though? I thought they were talking.
I'm pretty sure because like it was his friend and he was like supposed to watch her, so I think it was Marva. And it was the Cinta, the other girl was like watching her.
Why is Cinta so? Why are they so involved with?
Because they're waiting for Cassian to come back because they're supposed to kill him.
Wait, wait.
Lieutenant's assistant told.
Oh, right,
to
Lieutenant's
go-
assistant,
to go
right.
kill Cassian. Yeah.
And Stellan Skarsgård doesn't want his little medal back, or like his little piece of Star Wars material, whatever they call it, whatever the Jedi's.
Yeah, I don't think he got that back. You're right because he gave it to Vel. And I don't know if Vel gave it back to Cinta to.
Who has it?
Yeah.
Who has that?
I'm not
piece
sure. I go back and see who has it at the moment.
God, I do have to say the show has a lot of MacGuffins that they suddenly don't care about. Like they had that time stone, that infinity thing in the first episode, like that
the
weird.
the tracker, the Imperial tracking like navigator thing.
Oh wait, that it has played a part though.
Oh, it's like the gear that they're tracking the Empire the SB is like looking into. Yeah.
No one's mad about the paycheck disappearing. So I mean, they're really mad. Don't get me wrong. They're very mad about that.
Like the whole thing.
That's kind of like the rest of the show, right?
About, yeah.
Yeah, they're really mad that someone stole their shit.
The one thing I will say that's kind of like a check, like for me on the show, which is like a marked down, like even though it's like not like a big deal, is like I think the editing is like a bit weird in terms of like the structure of like the storylines and how they choose to like to compartmentalize them in certain episodes. Like,
it is very much like House of Cards.
So some episodes will have like one scene of like a character like in a story like show up for like like 5 minutes and like that's it, and then some episodes have like characters show up and like they're in for like 2 scenes, but the second scene ends on like some sort of like a beat where it's like, oh, we think they'll come back in like a moment or two, but you don't. We just like end the episode there for them and like we don't see them again.
Well, I think that's the nature of this being more like done in these arcs. Like it's very clear that some of these shows are more like broken up, not so much as the individual episodes, but when they're creating the season, it's like they're being written like by the writers as like an arc. They're being written in 3 episodes arcs. So like almost like, hey guys, write an hour and a half long movie instead of write 3 45-minute episodes or whatever. So I feel, or like 2-hour movies. So when those beats happen, I think it's more like but like it's more a reflection of the streaming. The nature of it being like a streaming series that's coming out weekly, but like still like not part of a large, it's part of like a larger whole that we're just like getting an end beat of.
Yeah, it's just like I just feel like there's a kind of like a couple of moments or scenes where I'm like, oh, I don't know if we needed that to be there. Like like we could have maybe put that earlier or like a next episode or something.
I kind of like it because it involves the opposite of the Stranger Things dilemma of like every single character that's introduced needs to have the same amount of screen time per episode. Like it feels like a contract that's been like written up where every kid needs the same amount of like story beats per episode as everyone else. So we get like these overly bloated things where we're like, we really didn't need Argyle's fucking hooking up with Dusty's girlfriend's older sister. We don't need that subplot in the middle of this high stake Vecna, fight, but I guess we're gonna have it, and then we have to go to Russia, and then we have to go to like, Winona Ryder's thing, and then we have to go. It's just over and over and over. This, I feel like there's 100 characters in this show. There's so many things going on, but we aren't really getting as much of the story as like we need to propel it forward, and it's really good, I think, in that respect.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say, just like in praise of another show I mentioned, Rings of Power. I do like that Rings of Power was a show that like knew when to pull back on certain characters and like storylines, so you can like focus on 1 or 2 plots at a time to get those like better emphasis.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. It's like, why are we getting so much of like Mom Mothra's thing or like certain characters thing? But it's like
more like why is it like specifically here? Like again, this last episode, or it was the last episode. We have like a scene with like Stellan Skarsgård, and then like the guys like building the machine again. Mon Mothma, the guys building the machine again.
You're saying
back to the ISB, and like we still have like 2 like literally like 40-second scenes of like the guys just building things. They're like what's next? And it's like, okay, I don't know if you guys need to add like that. Like,
so you don't like the problem is the interstitials, like
yeah,
what's bridging it over.
The way they're like kind of like cut up and like,
like
put together. Like there's like scenes where I'm like, I don't know, like we need to like come back to that for right now. It's like weird to get too invested for something for like very quick. Then
I think it's supposed to be like time has passed. How much time has passed? How much time has he spent in prison?
I'm not sure.
Because I think that's what it's supposed to convey is like time's passing. Like,
yeah, but
like
the same day. It's supposed to be like literally the same day.
what?
Yeah, like the no.
Oh,
But in the scenes I'm talking
right.
about.
They're doing the they're building the machine. Right. And the old guy.
Yeah, it's a little weird to me just as an editor. I'm just thinking like, oh, I don't know if we needed that there.
I think it's like a meanwhile.
Yeah.
Sammy, what do you think?
Other than that, though, the show is phenomenal. It truly is.
I also like that there's no aliens. And don't at me about that. Like, and I'm not saying that I don't like the aliens in Star Wars. I think they're as cute as everyone else thinks that they're cute. But it does feel like that it feels like, again, just like more adult, and B, it's like a really, I think Lon said this, like it's a really good, like subtle, unspoken statement that the Empire and the Imperial like army is like super, they're genocidal,
Yeah.
like, and that they kill, like they don't think of aliens as humans. Like we've always started Star Wars where there's Sith and some of these Sith are alien, and you know bad guys are sometimes aliens, so like they're just like not racist, but like no, they're extremely racist.
Yeah, that's always been like a thing of the Empire is that they have no aliens in like their Imperial forces.
Well, because like
no
Darth
alien
Vader's kind of a
Imperial
droid.
officers, yeah.
But Darth Vader's a droid. Like, kind of.
Like cyborg guy, yeah.
Yeah, but we've seen like in Mandalorian.
He's still human, I guess.
I guess, but we've seen in Mandalorian that they have like a specific kind of racism reserved for those half human, like
Oh, yeah,
half
yeah,
cyborg.
Yeah, that's for him though. He's with the Clone Wars got the droids.
No, but like the chick in Mandalorian and Boba Fett, she has to become like half android, and she like hates it. She's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be half fucking monster.
Fennec?
Yeah, Fennec.
Oh yeah, no, she's not everything. She just has android stomach, robotic stomach.
Yeah, but there are all those kids getting the mods. It was like a whole thing.
Oh yeah, they love it. They love the mods. That's cool. That's what the kids are into.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really really great.
Oh, I think the other. Sorry, go ahead.
Everything you're going to say. Do you have a? I think you already answered this, but do you have a favorite character?
Yeah, I mean, really, really into Cyril.
Yeah, I think mine probably is Luthen, Stellan Skarsgård's character. I just think he has like the I would see a whole like story episode, even like show about him. Honestly, just like him trying to pull things together.
I'll be honest, the weakest part of the show for me, and maybe it's because I need to go back and watch Rogue One. Don't really care for our main character.
For Cassian?
Yeah, I feel like he's the least interesting character. You almost feel like somebody who's just kind of being thrown into experience from experience, and he's just kind of like, what? Like his whole expression, and it's not for Diego Luna doing a bad job. He's doing a great job. But I guess I need the context for what the character becomes, because I'm just like watching this guy like kind of like just get by on his like wits and then be like, I'm not part of this. And then, you know, he's kind of like, I guess, doing a Han Solo thing, but like, he's not really invested in anything. He's just kind of invested in surviving.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, the unfortunate circumstance is that it doesn't really help anything, the fact that it's a prequel. Like, you know, like, knowing where Cassian ends up, like, doesn't really, elevate, like, why I am invested in this story at the moment. Like, this could have been, like, an original story about, like, just original character, you know, like, happening during the rebellion. Like, it really could have, and it actually probably would have been better, because I wouldn't know like where this character ends up. Like he could have been incorporated into the larger canon, or he could have died by the end of the series, and like on his own in a totally unique way. Like I personally don't feel like knowing Cassian's story in Rogue One like helps me enjoy this anymore.
Well, I wanna just rebut that for a second, Eric. I'm not sure if you know this, but in Star Wars, nothing ever really dies. Yeah. So that's what they say, but they only mean like the Skywalkers. Yeah. Like the rank and file absolutely just blow up.
If you have like force powers, otherwise you are definitely dead.
Oh, that's another thing that doesn't exist here. That I really like that they don't have. No one has the Force.
Yeah.
No one even talks about that. No one seems to know the Force exists or that like it's a thing. And like I love that. I love that for it. It's like the Force is like magic. Maybe they've heard of it, but like no one believes. No one. It's not like affecting anyone's life.
Yeah, it's a very important part. I think that they should like kind of establish more in the Star Wars universe that there are parts of the galaxy that don't deal with the Force at all. Like that's like. A pretty big part, probably like a large percentage of like people in the galaxy.
Yeah, they probably think it's like Scientology or something. They're like it's like woo-woo. Like they probably think it's like crystals or like, okay, yeah, the Force, like people who are into the Force, like it's like Kabbalism or something. Like it's just like mysticism. And that's how they kind of refer to it in like the first ones.
Yeah, like a mystical, like crazy religion.
Yeah, and Han Solo acts like that. He's like, this is just like some woo-woo bullshit.
He's like, I've been up and down this galaxy. It's like, I don't know if you have, man, because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, but no one else has magic. Like, like the magic stuff is so like directly involved with like just the Jedi and the Skywalkers. Like, and we don't see like people just like, and I guess it's just in the Rise of Skywalker, everyone sort of gets it for a hot second. But like, it would be like I think walking around in like the Senate right now, or like during the midterm elections, and suddenly like we're watching like Ron DeSantis suddenly like force lift the podium, and you just be like, wait, what? Like, oh, some of you have magic.
Yeah.
I guess that's another interesting part of your character development, but like that's not why I'm voting for you.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like Marjorie Taylor Greene has fucking Force powers. Yeah, she's got some Sith powers. Yeah. It's crazy. But I do like it because it does. I'm not just trying to be like, because it's somebody I know or it's like a friend of mine, but like it is rather remarkable that this is coming from the same guy who brought us House of Cards. Because I'm not sure if you guys. If any of you remember that show, I know it's like got the stain of Spacey all over it, but like that show truly was the last vestige of this thing that we can't have anymore post-Trump of like this grand idea of politics, but politics is this like, Machiavellian exercise. It was like almost like a dark inverse of West Wing. It was totally captivating. It was such a fun watch, but now like we all know that actual politics is so much dumber, so much stupider, and like so much more horrible than like the way that this made it seem. Like the way House of Cards made politics seem was like the House of Dragons. Like, it was just like politics was this vast mechanism of a bunch of levers that are being pulled by a bunch of
chess game.
Yeah, it's a giant chess game, and like the show was so interesting because all these different influences and all these different interests were intersecting in this corridor of power. And I think that's like what this show is doing really well. It's like, hey, imagine that, but for Star Wars, and like imagine Star Wars on a real granular level of the people who are doing the day-to-day shit in the Empire. I'd watch a whole show just about the Empire, like rank and file people just undermining each other and being like, that's not your jurisdiction. And then like fighting over the scraps of like, that's how we get the rise of Domhnall Gleeson eventually. Yeah. He's the ultimate like embodiment of like what Cyril and Deidre and all these people are. And at the end of the day, we see that like Domhnall Gleeson also does not give a shit about the Force or the Sith or like what the Empire is doing in that respect. Because he's like, fuck it.
Yeah, like he hates Kylo Ren. Yeah.
He's such a good anime character too. He's like, I just hate Kylo Ren so bad that like, go ahead, like I'll just sell out the entire like fleet of what I'm doing. I'll just let you guys go because I think this guy sucks. Yeah, that's a great Cyril move.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was so much fun. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Well, we are, I have my YouTube channel, so it's youtube.com/VideoDrew. I think it's VideoDrew1 now, whatever. But like you can find me on VideoDrew on all social networks. We just did a really fun Halloween free-for-all kind of horror thing. Yeah. And I think we're gonna be starting up doing our quizzes again, our Videochronic pop culture quizzes. Yeah. We are gonna probably be starting up some podcasts up again. I'll probably want to talk about Andor.
I mean, yeah, once Andor's done in 2 weeks, we'll probably do that for a podcast on our podcast network.
Content candy. It's like content, like cotton candy, but it's content. Yes. For your like ears. Yes. Nom noms for your ears. You know what? I might ask Bo if he'd come on.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's just try to get the House of Cards / Andor.
We're gonna see if we can ask Bo Willimon to come and
talk
to us about it.
Yeah, he might not be able to, but we'll see. Yeah. Other than that, I've been writing for Fangoria recently. I was supposed to point out the issue, but I gave it to the guys I wrote about. Yeah, I just wrote about if anyone gets a copy of Fangoria mailed to them. I was in the most recent issue interviewing Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson about their new movie, Something the Dirt. They're directing the second season of Loki. So we have all that to look forward to. They are awesome dudes with really fascinating backstory.
Yeah. If you have a chance to go see Something in the Dirt in theaters now, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, and then go petition your theater to like play it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And other than that, am I ever anywhere else? Oh, I'm kind of writing for Honest Trailers sometimes. Yeah.
You're also doing Why We Like This with Adam Collins.
Yeah, Why We Like This with Adam Collins. That's every other Sunday. And then that's like basically it for now.
That's basically it for now. Enough for us.
Ranker and stuff, yeah.
And we'll get Black Panther tonight.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. And you guys can find me right here on my YouTube on the YouTube channel, Multiverse Kingdom. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.